All right, so next up we have Matt Smith. He is an 18-year-old Georgia Tech student from the Atlanta area. He's been nice enough to come up this way. He was a judge last night and he's going to present right now, so thank you guys.
All right, let's do this. Yeah. So, man, who is this guy? Like, what's he doing here? All the way from Atlanta. I do rep my town pretty well, I hope, but putting on for the 404. But yeah, so I'm not Doctor Who. If anybody's seen Doctor Who, Matt Smith is the guy who plays Doctor Who. That's not me, but I do love startups, and it's just a huge part of my life. Really passionate nerd. Really passionate nerd. I did kind of get an early start. I don't like to, really play this stuff too much or touch on it too much, but I started going to technology conferences and stuff. Pretty young age, around 16/17. So got in the right place at the right time, got involved with some people. So it's been a good time. So right now there's kind of three entities that essentially take up my life. Go Rankum is a company that I came on about a couple of years ago. Music site, which I'll touch on a little bit later. Insightpool is a new company that I'm working on starting right now. It's in the very early stages, but things are looking exciting, and I'll also talk about that here in a minute. And I'm also a student at Georgia Tech. So Go Rankum, just a quick background. I'm going to try not to pitch you guys too hard or anything. We're a music site. People go on, rank their favorite songs, and we pull those rankings together to give you the best songs according to the fans. You guys laughing at the F that button? Yeah? We actually had, about a week ago, this guy, Shane Harper, so he's like some boy band singer or whatever, and he was going to do a promotion for us to link that off to his Facebook page. We actually got an email saying, can you please remove the F that button, because we think it's going to be offensive to our audience of 15-year-olds. So, let's back up now, though. So, Insightpool. This is the real money-making play, because Go Rankum is awesome. It's really been more of a passion play than anything else. But we've kind of discovered that the monetization isn't quite as strong as we thought it was. So what we're doing here is we're taking the ranking technology that we built for Go Rankum and bringing that to the B2B marketing space. So right here we're ranking fans of a brand on Twitter based on how likely they are to become evangelists. So there's some pretty heavy algorithm work there. We're integrating with the cloud. It's like right here against Start Norfolk. Everybody that follows Start Norfolk is ranked by influence. So we're talking to a lot of people, getting some good feedback. So that's some good stuff. Then I'm a student at Georgia Tech.
Is that a good thing?
Oh yeah. It's for now. It's a good thing. So what have I learned? And this is just kind of my opinion on everything. Take this with a grain of salt. This is what I've kind of observed doing startups and doing technology stuff. So that's that. So a few main things I'm just going to kind of touch on in the order of progression that I think that a lot of this is going to happen. When you have an idea, you pitch it, you go build a team, you're like, all right, what's our business model going to be? In my opinion, don't try to get funding. And then to wrap it all up, we'll talk about a location. So there's a great Ben Folds song. If you guys get this joke, I'll move on. So when you're pitching, right, you gotta be memorable. Even if the
I didn't get the good picture. Hold on.
Go.
Do it again.
There you go.
It's about as gangsta as I get.
Horrible angle.
Gangster 3, take 4.
Oh yeah. Well, there's a few more gangster references in here, so. It's twice as gangsta here. So.
Yes.
All right.
That's presenter gangster.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, mother would be proud.
Gotta have those proud. All right. So when you're pitching, right, even if the idea that you're pitching totally sucks, make people remember you. Be memorable, if nothing else. I gave a pitch at an event called Startup Riot a couple months ago in Atlanta, and the idea is kind of like what happened here last night. You've got a bunch of entrepreneurs, 50 companies. Each one gets 3 minutes, and they just go on and pitch and pitch and pitch. And the thing is, when you've got so many companies, even if you have a great idea, but you just got to get washed out, you've got to do something to make yourself memorable. It's got to be concise and clear, right? Because if you're saying something, even if it's a great idea in your head, if it doesn't make sense to anybody else, you're not really going to get that far. So this is kind of, in my opinion, the basic outline of what you should do regardless. You have to say, okay, there's a problem. I have a solution and it's different enough, okay? And I say different enough because the whole argument of, this is my idea, oh, but there's somebody else who's doing the same thing, so I can't do that idea. I don't believe that. That's more validation of the fact that somebody else is doing it. In a lot of cases, the market's pretty big, so there's room for more than one player. On the market side is to say, hey, people are going to buy this. And at the end, big believer in you got to have an ask. You got to say, okay, this is what I'm looking for. It could be users, could be beta testers, could be funding, whatever that is. Make sure people walk away knowing what you want them to do. Practice, like seriously, you got to practice a lot. Like stand in the mirror, talk to yourself. Driving is a great way to do this. Like I've been rolling down the highway many times, talking to myself. Kind of look like an idiot, but it's all good. So team, right? You pitch this idea, you want to try to put a team together, you want to try to get some people that are going to be passionate about your idea as much as you are. So hire people that are smarter than you, actually. And a lot of people have a tough time doing this, but if you don't hire somebody that's smarter than you, you're going to hire somebody that's dumber than you, and then they're going to hire somebody that's dumber than them, and that chain of progression keeps going on, and then you're kind of screwed. Culture is important, however. You've got to really actually get along with your team. You got to have fun. This is an office in Atlanta called Hampton. They got a pretty good view there. But they dedicated a room in their office to a ping pong table and a police force machine. And that's pretty awesome. Like,
what part of Atlanta is that?
That's in Buckhead. So I think that's right.
Buckhead's nice.
So that's Lake Square right there.
Yeah.
But then you got to argue with them too, right? You've got to be able to say, hey, dude, I disagree. I think you're full of shit, to continue with the theme that I put on the slide earlier. You've got to be able to have a healthy debate, and you've got to play off of each other and be able to come to a decision in a good way. This is a cartoon from the oatmeal, and I think it's pretty funny, and it represents a lot of stuff that you're going to face. If you're just doing consulting work, it's one thing. You're not as attached to the idea. But then if it's something like this, where one person has one opinion, another person has another opinion, and you really care about what you're working on, it can get kind of tough. So equity, right? How do you have that conversation? The pie's only so big, so you got to address that at some point. Talk early and have that discussion sooner rather than later, because if you're in a position where, okay, maybe you don't have money yet, maybe you don't have revenue yet, it's a lot easier to be open and transparent when there's money on the table and you end up getting something like that. That kind of sucks. So business models, right? Make sure I say business models, not business plans. Like if you have like a 50-page business plan, nobody cares. So this is pretty good right here, model of success, right? It's not a straight line. You don't say, oh, I'm going to do this, and then you want, yeah, I've done that, I'm successful. No, you go all over the place. Like it looks like crazy, and people don't always think about that. So if you're doing it right, and if you're really iterating like you should be, it's going to suck, it's going to hurt. I mean, like, that's going to be you on a daily basis. You're like, oh my god, I can't do this. It's going to be confusing. I thought that was pretty confusing. I don't even know what to say there. Keep doing it, all right? Don't give up, all right? Keep pivoting, keep talking to people, and when you finally get that model that works, you're going to know. Don't stop believing.
I got it.
Talk to people, right? Get out and talk to your customers. Find out what they want. Never stop talking to your customers. Because if you get in this bubble where you're building something that only you want and you're not thinking about what other people want, that's pretty bad. Talk to people all the time, like this guy right here. He's on his Bluetooth. He's talking to a customer. He's talking about his 50-page business plan, and he's just like, I can't do this anymore. So, all that said, there is a pretty good exercise.
I should have said I'm fucking leaving you.
Then
he might have picked up on putting the Bluetooth down.
Or he could have stopped listening at leaving. So, never mind. Business Model Canvas, great book called Business Model Generation. Don't get too bogged down in this. This is not the same thing as a business plan, but it's a pretty good exercise. Google it if you want to hear more. But it's making sure, okay, do we have something that people actually want? Do we know what all these things are? Because we are talking to investors. If you do decide to go that route, you kind of need to have the stuff down. But again, don't get bogged down in that. That's not the most important thing. The most important thing is your customer, and the most important thing is the product. Solve a real problem, right? Don't just build something that you think is cool. Maybe for a weekend project, maybe even for something like this, that might work. But if you want something that's going to last, again, going back to the customers thing, make sure that you know what they want and you go with that. And fail. Like, I mean, I'm not going to talk as much about this because I got to talk about failure itself, but fail.
Ooh.
You hear that?
Oh, Jesus.
He's doing a great job. So funding, right? My opinion right here, but in most cases, I would actually say don't raise money, okay? Unless you absolutely have to, right? There are ways to be creative about this, okay? Like for example, with Go Rank 'em, these are some of the guys I work with. Like we would actually go out to music festivals, get like a poster board, put that on our back, and try to get people to sign up. We'd have like freezer pops and business cards, and we'd go out and we'd say, hey, if I give you this freezer pop, will you go check out my website? And that actually worked pretty well for us. We did a Kickstarter campaign. We actually got about $2,300 off of that, which was really cool. We gave out shirts. We gave out VIP invites back when we were still a little bit closed off. Recognized you as a sponsor if you give certain amount of money. So that was cool. And the great thing about that is there's no equity. You don't have to really worry about the ramifications of that money you're taking on. And just through relationships, you know, we actually have been on Mashable and Life Hacker that require no money. And something recently that we've discovered that's cool is we actually approach artists and get artists to post about us on their Facebook page. Gavin DeGraw did it about a week ago. I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of a big Gavin DeGraw fan. He's got a pretty smooth voice. But we got some comments and we got some rankers. And the same Clown Posse actually crashed our site. Like the site went down because so many people were coming from the same Clown Posse. So you don't have to have money, but if you do have a VC, you know, you got a boss, right? And that's not always the best thing, and that pie we're talking about, you know, that does get a little bit smaller in that case. And actually, at IMA show, really you've got to evaluate for your specific case. You know, with web stuff, I would lean more towards the don't raise money thing. But if you're doing a physical product and you've got to scale like crazy, you know, there are times for it. So location, right? Where should you be? Where should your startup be? So Norfolk, right? All you guys seems like are from the Norfolk area. That's awesome. Like I am so pumped about how connected this community is. I was walking out, leaving yesterday, ran into somebody. He's like, "Oh, where are you going?" I said, "Norfolk." I said, "I didn't know there was a startup community in Norfolk. Let's change that, right? Let's actually be great entrepreneurs in Norfolk, right? Lots of local resources. You know, in Atlanta, the thing is, everybody's like, "Oh, we got to be in Silicon Valley. We got to be in Silicon Valley." But it's more a matter of let's not try to be Silicon Valley and let's be Atlanta. Don't try to be Silicon Valley. Let's be Norfolk. I mean, even just from talking to some people, it seems like there's military resources here. This is a unique place. So build startups for this area and make it its own. And the whole community thing. There's I know in Atlanta there's an event called Startup Drinks, which happens every month. If you guys don't have something like that, I would definitely recommend
Drinksdowntown.com. If you haven't been yet, please go.
Drinksdowntown.com, that's what I'm talking about.
Drinksdowntown.com.
That's got a good
And you had a payment on it?
go to that.
It
Yes.
only costs $10 to buy the domain. It's available. It's available for purchase for $2 million.
You should have pitched that last night.
But yeah, so just be great entrepreneurs and do it in Norfolk. Because people care, right? If nobody cared, you wouldn't be here. This event wouldn't be happening. Nobody would be in there coding and building stuff and doing awesome things. So there's a Steve Jobs quote called "Real artists ship." I'm thinking like Norfolk, like boats, like ship, like do it, right? Build stuff, make it happen, and put on VO City, right? Make everybody proud, right?
You missed it again. He did a gangster movie.
I know. I told you I had one more gangster right this, and
We got it on tape.
it's going down. So, faux shizzle. All right. So those are my slides. is.gd Bitly slideshare is Bitly Pro, so they had it be slide.share, so I think it's a little easier. So yeah, check it out. And if you guys got any questions or anything, love to talk. My phone is ringing.
Hey Matt, so when you're in Atlanta, do you kind of keep the big companies or mid-sized companies in the kind of wanting them to be connected into these types of things? Or do you talk to them to say, hey, you should sponsor, be a part of this?
Yeah, definitely. And the cool thing about a lot of these bigger companies, I was talking to somebody earlier today about this, is that a lot of people in these big companies are either startup veterans or they're just a big fan of startups. So it's a matter of we're going to find those people and kind of get them on our side. And I mean, sponsorships is even with Georgia Tech, they're not directly affiliated with large corporations, but they do a lot of partnerships and everything. So it's just a matter of saying, okay, we're doing this event, you want to sponsor, and kind of keep everybody connected. So absolutely.
What is the GTRI there?
So that's Georgia Tech Research Institute, which it's.
And that's where.
Yeah. It's officially a branch off of Georgia Tech. They do a lot of work with DoD actually. The conference center at GTRI is actually open for free for anybody that wants to do an event there and can prove that this is going to somehow bring value to Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So like WestConf was there, a lot of other things are there as well.
I feel like this is a really similar.
Yeah, like that's awesome that ODU actually said, hey, you can use this space and it really helps everybody. So, anything else? All right, put on for Yo City.